What's up, everybody? This is Adam with Reese Customs, and I'm going to tell you how your laser can make you up to $500 per day. So stick around. All right, $500 per day. Is it clickbait? No, it's not. How I'm doing it in this video, how I'm going to discuss making that money, is by engraving tumblers. Now, there's going to be a couple parts of this video. It'll be, I'll just break it down real quick. So if you're interested, you can keep watching. If it just doesn't sound like something you'd want to watch, you don't have to waste your time on it. But we're going to talk about the price per tumbler, how many tumblers you can do an hour, some of the tips and tricks with the laser, the rotary setup, the tumbler prep, all of that stuff we're going to talk about in the video. So if that sounds like something that you'd like to hear, cool, stick around. Okay, so how would you go about making $500 a day engraving tumblers? Well, for me, I engrave, so these Stanley Quencher H2.0, they're super popular. This is the 30 ounce, done a bunch of these, right? And so I charge $10 per tumbler to engrave them. The clients provide the tumblers, they send them to me, I prep them, engrave them, clean them up, give them back. I don't have any overhead as far as purchasing tumblers, keeping an inventory, anything like that. So I strictly offer engraving on the customer's tumblers. So I do that at $10 each. Now, each design takes a different amount of time, but generally a design that's going to go in this space here, because you want it kind of opposite of the Stanley logo. So the design that'll come in this area takes usually about 10 minutes or so to engrave. So anywhere from 8 minutes to 12 minutes, depending on how complex it is. So I do 10 minutes per cup, thereabouts. You've got prep time, prepping the cups, changing out the laser, all that stuff you have to factor in. So you can do about 5 cups an hour. So you work 10 hours a day. It'd be nice to only work 10 hours a day. But you work 10 hours a day, you can do 50 tumblers a day. It's $500. Now, this order here, it's not 50 tumblers. This is 25 tumblers. But the process is the same. And if you want to work even more than 10 hours, or maybe you have a quicker logo, you can make even more than that. But the main thing is keep your laser running. So we're going to go through the prep stages and how I have cups lined up so I can keep the laser engraving just steady with just a few minutes change out time in between. So let's talk about prepping the cups. Okay, so I like to have like an assembly line type thing. This is just a little mock-up. Obviously it'd be in a larger scale on a table cleaned out, but I wanted to throw this in here and show this real quick. Well, basically I have cups that are ready to go on the laser, cups I just pulled off and needs to be cleaned, and then I prep the cups in between so that I can have a steady flow. Like as this one's clean and put back together, I disassemble another one and have it here. As this one's clean, put back together, I disassemble another one, so on and so forth. So to disassemble these are super easy. That's why I like doing these. Basically, I'll take the lid. This is our prep work. Take the lid off, take the stuff out. Sometimes I'll take these off, which I'm going to, and I'll show you why. And then for these Stanley cups, it's just 2 Allen screws that hold the handle on. So I don't use a power tool because you don't want to strip out the part where the screw goes in, and I'll show you in just a second what that looks like. So see, your screw actually screws into the metal, not the plastic, and you don't want to strip those out by using a power tool, so I just use a regular screwdriver. Now, this is basically all the prep you have to do for it to fit on the rotary. I do one more thing because I found that the wheels on the rotary tend to slip, and maybe it's because I have a very dusty shop because I'm primarily a wood shop, and maybe if they're pristinely clean they won't slip. I don't risk it, and that is I run 1 strand of painter's tape around the top where the drive wheels are on the rotary, and I'll show you that in a second. And that's just, it grips the tape a lot better than it grips this slick powder coat. So I know it's not going to, as it's turning and engraving, it's not going to slip and get off and screw up the engraving. I have had that happen. That's why I put the tape on here. So that'll be all the prep. And then now let's go over to the laser. Okay, so ignore how messy all of my laser is, because it's in need of cleaning and we haven't done it. But this is the rotary from OM Tech. It's the one that I bought when I bought the machine. And so a couple things different than how it comes set up from the factory is I have a piece of, this is just a piece of micarta, and I have it clamped. You can use a piece of wood or whatever, but I have that clamped there because some tests I did, I'll put this back on here, as it was spinning, this was walking down this way off of the edge of the rotary. So your design, it would walk down and then eventually fall off or whatever, and your design would be all screwed up. So I put that there just to stop it from walking. And then this thing, this is a little clamp that I designed, and I may include a link to this on my website. It's a 3D print that I printed. It clips on the back of here. It uses a spring from a little chip clip, like the clip potato chip bags closed. I just busted it and stole the spring out of it. And then I got a couple O-rings on the wheels. And all that does is provides tension to hold the cup down. It holds it down against the wheels. And so when I put one on, I like to line up the handles with my home position. I'll show you on the computer in a second. But that way I know all the engraving is going to be in the exact same spot. So I'll frame it, and you'll notice it goes pretty slow. So one thing, if you weren't aware, when you do when you plug in a rotary, it takes the place of your y-axis. So your gantry is not going to move this way anymore. You unplug it back there in the back, plug in the rotary, and so you'll still have X movement this way, but as far as your Y movement, it'll actually spin the cup. So you want to line up your rotary dead center so your cup, the focal point is right on top of the cup, and it's going to spin the cup and keep the laser right there on top. And I know it sounds like I'm not explaining it very well, but I will show you when I go through and engrave. But it's framed up, and let me show you where that home position I'm talking about is. In Lightburn, I have this square, and that square is basically the area of the wide flat part of the cup just laid out, and I have my logo there. And so this corner here, I'll send the machine using this little GPS button. I'll send the machine to there, and that corresponds to the right above the top handle hole. And so if you line up all your cups in the same exact place over that handle stub, then the engraving will turn out in the same place every time. So let me go through the engraving real quick and show you that, and then I'll talk about some machine settings. Okay, so machine settings was one thing that drove me crazy, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go here to edit in Lightburn, come down to machine settings, and so here are all mine. So you can pause and you can copy them. I'll just scroll through them. Now, depending on what rotary you have, some things might be different, like your rotary parameters may be different. If you have the one from OM Tech like I have, then these work perfect for it. But basically, if you can change all of this, and then you have to do write, so it writes it to the machine and hit OK. But before you do any of that, so open your machine settings. If you're just engraving flat like wood, or just cutting wood, and save the file. So save your current machine settings, and then save it to as like normal machine settings. Then you can go in here and change all of this, write it to it, and you can save that to file as rotary machine settings. And then whenever you want to switch back and forth, you go to load, and you just pull up if you want to do rotary or you want to do normal and swap it. If you don't, you're going to catch heck when you go to use a machine. Like if you have it set up as rotary and you try to use it for like plywood, it's going to be awful. So for these particular cups, I have this image here. So I do 125 speed and 29 power, and that engraves just perfect on these. So one more thing I forgot to mention is the tape. I talked about it a second ago, but these wheels, they tend to slide. Like they'll turn and the cup will slide, and sometimes it won't move like it's supposed to. So I just put that strip of tape there right where the wheels are going to make contact, and it turns it perfectly. The laser has no problem engraving through the tape and the powder coating, and it's just some little insurance, a little tip that will help your engraving give it the best possible chance of succeeding. So because I moved it, I'm going to frame it again and just make sure everything looks right, make sure it's spinning right, and you can see it spins perfectly with the wheels. And so now I'm going to engrave it, and I'll do a time lapse and you can see that. After it comes off the laser, we're going to want to take the tape off, obviously. Get these little pieces off here. And then what I like to use is a Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, some purple power. This is just concentrate that I diluted down with water. Paper towel, and I'll spray the paper towel down, and I'll just get the bulk of this soot and stuff off first. And then take a magic eraser, and then all the soot that's kind of on the engraving and on the powder coating, there's a little bit of glue residue where it burns through the tape, and this just gets all of that off. Doesn't take long. Where that glue was down here, clean that off, and then I'll take me paper towel again, missed a little bit right there. You don't want any of that char or anything on the powder coating because it's going to stand out and look dirty. So I'll take a clean paper towel, wipe the cup down, and then we just put all our stuff back on, and that's it. Put our handle back on, put our lid back on, our paperwork back in there, and it's good to go. On to the next one. Alright, so that's it. So as you can see, you can definitely make money with the laser. The main things are you got to keep that thing going. So set you up an assembly line type thing. As soon as one tumbler's finished, load another one on, keep the laser running all the time, because if it's not running, you're not making money. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the video, if you got something out of it, give me a like, and possibly subscribe if you'd like to see more stuff like this. And if there's any questions you have that I didn't touch on in this video, because this was kind of an impromptu thing, leave a comment down below. I'll answer them, and I'll see you on the next one.